Hi, so this is an assembly guide for a Susan G. Komen 700C bicycle, model number 62795. This is how it comes out of the box. I took it out of the box and you can see they wrap everything quite well. This is everything unwrapped, which took a while. You have to cut everything, and that probably takes more time than anything else. The first step is to take the nuts off of the front wheel. We'll get to that here. So that you can put the axle on the front wheel axle on the bike. So you just take the nut off, and the one like little lock nut, leave the other nut on there. So now when you put this on, the axle has a sticker on it that says rear, and make sure that's facing towards the pedals. I didn't do that at first. The brake pads will be on the front of the bike, not behind the axle. So like I have it backwards right now. If you see the brake pads, that's backwards. So you'll see as I move along that I swap that around. Anyway, when you tighten down the wheel to the axle here, you fit it in there. It's a little harder to get it in between the brake pads when they're backwards. Again, that's backwards. We'll be swapping that around. Just make sure the rear is facing the rear. So anyway, when you put them on, it's pretty simple. The lock washer goes into the little groove that's in the frame there. And then you put the nut on, just slide it on snug. Don't crank it down yet on both sides. And the reason is you want this to be tightened down evenly, because that will ensure the wheel is centered on the axle and it won't wobble. And once you do tighten it down, try to tighten it down even. I think it's a 16 millimeter wrench. If I remember correctly, could be 15. I think it's 16. So I when I tightened it down, you have it between my legs. Make sure it looks even, visually. Tighten down each side, a little bit at a time. The threads are even, amount that the bolt's sticking out, and that'll probably get you pretty close. And most likely it'll be nice. And then once you tighten it down pretty good, with either an adjustable wrench or a 16 millimeter wrench, spin it and see if it wobbles. If it doesn't wobble, you're golden. If it does wobble, well, you're going to have to kind of try again and make sure you get it centered, because that's what the problem is. You don't want to wobble and it looks like crap. Alright, so once this is done, we'll move along to the handlebars, I think. Yep, I'm going to do the handlebars now. Okay, so you can see I still have the wheel backwards, but I'll fix it eventually. But meanwhile, I'm going to put the handlebars in. You can see the sticker that says rear right there. When am I going to notice that, right? It's facing the front, so it's backwards. Anyway, the gear shifts are going to go on the handlebar bar. It's real self-explanatory. Yeah, that was the plastic cover there. So you slide the gear shift on the handlebar bar there. You'll end up tightening that down later. And then really you just slide it into the hole. These things are pretty nice. You know, you squeeze it, it's like some kind of like little locking mechanism, and you slide it in there, you know, adjust it to where you like it. And then once you get it where you like it and it's centered properly, you know, pull that little plastic cap off the top there, and that's going to take an Allen wrench, the same Allen wrench that you'll be using for the seat and on any bike. I forget the size, but it's the same one. Show them at any store, you know, to adjust seats. So it's the same thing that you use for tightening the handlebars. I'm just making sure everything's centered right now here. No, that's a Phillips head screwdriver for the gear shifters. And looks like I got it all centered. And there's the Allen wrench. Now that's just a regular ratchet wrench, but this piece in there is the same size as for the seat tightening. So I'm just making sure everything's nice and centered visually there. Stick the Allen wrench in there. You know, regular Allen wrench will work. I just use the ratchet and tighten it down, and that locks it in. Make sure it's, you know, pretty good. You don't have to tighten it to the point of breaking your ratchet or your hand, and just tighten it down pretty good so it doesn't slide up and down. Make sure it's centered again. I'm visually making sure here that it's nicely centered. And there you go. Tighten it down and put that little plastic cover back on it, and your handlebars are done. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm noticing something. I'm noticing the wheels backwards. This is when I figured it out. What a genius. So now I'm loosening it. See? It does rear. I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, really? And even if don't pay attention, it's a 50-50 chance I would have got it right. But I didn't. I got it wrong. So you gotta spin it around. Yeah, spin the whole thing around. Make sure your cords and stuff are not all turned around and stuff. And I'm putting the handlebars back in now with the wheel facing the correct way. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, I could have edited this so it looked like I did it right the first time. But, you know, I just want to make sure you don't leave it with the rear on there in case you accidentally did it like I did. Because it's not right. It'll rub maybe against the frame, the wheel, and the cables, and it's just not right. Okay, so I cranked this down. This should be coming to an end here. I gotta do, what am I gonna do next? The pedals, probably. Yep, checking. Everything looks good. Pedals. Come on, pedals. Pedals. Oh my God, what am I doing? Oh, I'm sitting here talking to myself about the axle, or the wheel facing the wrong way. Yeah, yeah, it says rear. I did not notice it. That's because, alright. Okay, next, the pedals. So these are labeled L and R. So L goes on the left side, R goes on the right. The left side actually screws the opposite way that you would normally screw something in, I think. Yeah. So you screw it to the left, and the right side you would screw to the right. And I hope I'll just sit here and show you screwing this in. I am, though. I'm going to sit here. So, sorry. Probably not necessarily to show you. Screwing these in. So this one you screw to the right. It is just, in case you get confused there, the left side, you do screw to the different direction than the right side. They don't screw in the same way. So hand tighten them, then get channel locks or adjustable wrench, and just tighten them good, snug. Again, to the right on the right side, and then turn it to the left on the left side. Alright, so we got that. Now we're gonna do, what are we doing now? Oh, the seat. Okay, let's put the seat in. You know, adjust it wherever you like it. And it's the same Allen wrench as the lock for the handlebars. And you just tighten it once you get it where you like it. Make sure it's straight, and you're all set. And yep, tighten it down. The back light there is probably loose, and I think that's a regular Phillips head that you're going to want to use to tighten that. So now after the seat's all set, I think I'll show you the completed bike, and then I'm going to take it for a quick test drive. Yep, so that's the bike completed. Yay, very nice. And let's see. Yep, looks good. Everything looks like it's straight. Everything's adjusted good. I have to do another video for adjusting the brakes